I left Belfast, I think it was one Monday evening, over to England. From the north of England, we drove down to Immingham, and we were on the ship for 24 hours, and I arrived in Gothenburg then.
First it was very nice because I met my future husband, and then we drove. He lived in Gobangen at the time, and it was very crisp and autumny. The trees, it was October 75, and the trees were all turning lovely colours and all that.
So I had my friends from the telephone house in Belfast. They were calling me daily. They were asking me, Miriam, what's it like? What's it like? I said, oh, it's beautiful. It's like New York. That's when I lived in Norland and the snow was halfway up the window. Oh.
I think my first impulse was to get a foothold in here rather than try and find a ready-made group of Irish people like myself. Honestly, in the first few years, I was concentrating on work and family.
I met a guy who turned out to be also from Kerry, and when I asked him about an Irish club, he did tell me about the Swedish-Irish, but emphasised actually that it was mostly for Swedish people who had a cultural interest in Ireland.
I did become a member of the Swedish-Irish Society then, but I didn't, participate in any of the events because I found them quite a little too boring and formal. But I always paid my membership, so after a few years, I forget what specific year it was, I became a member, and then after that I became active in the society. And to be honest, if it wasn't for the Swedish-Irish Society, I don't think I'd be here today.
It's a long, long way from there. It's a long, long way from there to here. Oh, it's a long way away, gets further day by day. It's a long, long way from here.
We all got intermarried, had kids. It was fairly mad at the time, going back through the years. Very funny characters, people we don't get the opportunity to meet with, say, going through the year, A group of them walk into a gig and they sit down, and so it's great. Diverse, funny characters from who have had relationships or have, connected or are now Swedish nationals.
The Irish people have always been into crafts and art, and so for me it's like I'm doing a different flavour of that, for a different audience. It's not just, I'm not doing it for Irish people in Sweden, I'm doing it for the larger queer community and trying to bridge the Irish humour with the Swedish culture and references, trying to bridge the gap. I only know one Irish queer person. There's probably more out there. Maybe they're all up in like Luleå or something. They're like, no, we're not going to the city. Stockholm is awful,
So my name is Sophie Murphy and I grew up here in Stockholm. My mother's Swedish, but my dad is Irish. Growing up Irish in Stockholm is a bit special because you've got two legs in two different countries. So on one hand, you've got like the Swedish culture influencing you, it's like through school, your friends and everything. And then we've also got the Irish side. Ireland puts a lot of emphasis on community, sports, music and things like that. A lot of the things that I think that Sweden's missing. So I always say that I get the best of both worlds because you've got like the social system in Sweden backing you up, but then at the same time you've got the Irish culture and making sure that your life is a bit richer than it would maybe be if you were fully Swedish. I think it's very important that we have some kind of like foundation that's built on something that can bring everyone together and not be exclusive in any kind of way.
I think it's nice just to be able to chat and not be asked, what's that mean? What's that mean? I get that a lot in work. I'm working in a fairly international company, but I'm the only Irish person in the office, and sometimes I say things and they don't have a clue what I'm on about, even though all the Swedes speak great English. We were even saying at the last meeting, it's nice just to be able to have a chat and not be conscious of, am I speaking too fast, or am I using too much slang, even Dublin slang? So yeah, I think it's just like a comfort zone, almost like a comfort blanket, especially because I'm very close with my family, so it's nice to kind of have Irish people still here, even if, you know, my family can't be here all the time. It's nice to still have that. So yeah, I'd say it's the comfort that I like.
So this little mover is my son Frank, and he's my firstborn son with my wife Matilda. Within 2 weeks I went to my first GAA session, and I think Matilda was quite surprised that I just had left and went straight down to Scarpnick. But it was one of the best things I did, because for the GAA community here and the Irish community, it just allowed me to open up my own kind of friendships and chance to kind of create a network for myself, which is important. Matilda's family and friends have been wonderful, but it's important for me to be able to have a bit of home. And I've played for my whole life, but it's nice to have a bit of home and a yarn with people from home. So yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been a nice outlet for me here.
I had no idea that the Irish community was so big in Stockholm and Sweden, so it was just good news.
You have to drop an anchor in the society you arrive in. And when you've done that, you can realise yourself, the social side if you like, or the cultural side of yourself in the context of Sweden. It's very important for renewal of the society that younger people get involved and actually, you know, create that hub, make something of it and make more of it.
The committee we have now, Carmel and Company, they are marvellous. You know, they have really brought this to something different. Keep it going, even if there should be a lull.
You might be taking it for granted, but it's something that your kids are going to be very grateful for one day. I'm not saying that it's more important for the Swedish kids, but it's very important for us so that we can have some kind of like tie, that we actually have a sense of home away from home. And so even if we're not in Ireland, we can still have a bit of Ireland here in Stockholm. I think that is a good reminder for us.
It's great to see more and more young children coming involved. So yeah, I think I'd love to introduce Gaelic to him as soon as possible, and it would be great for him to be able to meet other Irish children and play with them and enjoy the sport that I was lucky enough to play from a very young age. So I think the Irish community here will be nice for him to play, won't it?
Keep going, lads. You're keeping us going, and the fun and crack and the friendship is invaluable to us and to everybody else here.